All right. We're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you that are new to our monthly member forums, I'm Marilyn Stansberry, the CEO at Independent Electrical Contractors Rocky Mountain. And this month we're going to be talking about rebates. We are joined by Kevin Hooley. Kevin, thank you so much for being with us. I will let you introduce yourself in just a moment and get things started. First, I wanted for those that are on the call to welcome you and thank you for participating in this member forum. Every month we do a different topic that we believe is relevant to the industry based on your questions and input. So if there is a content session that you'd like to hear, please never hesitate to reach out to me directly and let me know something that that you have questions about. Because if you have questions about it, I'm sure that other contractor members within the association do as well. I would ask that you hold November 13th or put November 13th on your calendar. That is our annual State of the Industry dinner and Board of Directors elections. We look forward to welcoming, we're hoping to have about 250 at the dinner this year. We're focusing this year on lighting and illumination and all of the innovations and technology that are happening in the lighting world. And I suspect we might hear from Kevin a little bit of information about what's going on in the lighting world, or he'll know who we need to talk to from a rebate perspective. So that's something that might be relevant even for today's conversation. But we do hope you can join us on November 13th. I also ask that if you have never been to the Downtown Denver Parade of Lights, this year the parade will be on December 7th. All of the floats in the parade will be pulled by electrical contractors. So if you have a truck that you would like to pull a float, we have a couple of options left for contractors that would be interested in pulling a float. It is also our parade viewing party and holiday party for our members, and we invite you to join us on December 7th for the holiday party, and then we all go outside and watch the parade as the IEC Rocky Mountain float, which is the illuminated ice castle of the future. We've been in the parade since 2017. It's become an annual tradition for us to participate in the parade. And then 3 years ago, we were asked to also be a sponsor by having trucks from the fleet vehicles from our electrical contractors pulling those floats. So December 7th and November 13th, really exciting things coming up from an event perspective. We also have an EV charging class that's coming up beginning next weekend. So if we hear at all about EV rebates, and EV is something that you do in your company or are interested in doing, we've created a new certification program that will launch next Saturday, October 19th. With that, Kevin, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and kick this off. If you have questions along the way, you may put them in the chat or raise your hand. And we can either, based on Kevin's preference, we can answer questions during the presentation or hold them to the end. Kevin, let us know what you would prefer in terms of that interaction. Kevin, take it away. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you very much, Marilyn. And thanks everyone for joining this morning. I hope you're having a good day so far. I am going to share my screen here if I can and get started. Okay. So yeah, thanks again everyone for joining here. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about Xcel Energy's rebate programs. I'm going to focus mainly on lighting today, but we do have other technologies that do have rebates associated with them as well. I'll touch on those near the end of the presentation. As far as questions go, we do have some time at the end for general questions, but at the same time, if anything I say sparks a question and you'd like to bring it up at that time, feel free to drop it in the chat or come off mute, and we'll answer those questions as they come up. Okay. All right, so like I said, we're going to focus mainly on lighting today. I'll talk a little bit about Clear Result, the company that I work for, and how we work with Xcel Energy in these programs, and really how you can leverage these programs to, further your business goals and kind of leverage our expertise to make the most of these Xcel Energy programs. There's a lot of good offerings out there by Xcel, and we want to make sure that you guys are taking advantage of them. Real quick, just to introduce myself, again, my name is Kevin Hooley. I've got my contact information up here. I would love to connect with folks individually over lunch or over a phone call, anything like that. So please don't hesitate to reach out after this meeting if there's anything else we can do to kind of get together and answer any other questions you have, or talk about specific projects maybe that you're doing, and work through rebate eligibility for those. For me, I grew up in Minnesota and came out here to Colorado in 2007 to go to CU Boulder. I'm a CU Boulder grad, and after college, I kind of bounced around the state a little bit. I worked up in Aspen for about 6 years, kind of doing the ski bum life and enjoying my time up there. Wasn't able to make it as a professional skier, unfortunately. So after a few years of giving it my all, I decided to move down to Denver and start my professional career. Down here, I've worked with several different contracting companies. I started with a home remodeling company and ended up working as well with a commercial finish carpentry company doing hotels and hospitals and that kind of thing. In 2020, I ended up getting on with Clear Results, and I've been here now going on my 4th year with Clear Results, and I've really enjoyed my time here working with Xcel Energy's programs, and helping. I really do enjoy working with contractors, as I have some background with that. So I love to learn about how contractors do their business and what we can do to kind of help them out, and really just make it as easy as possible for contractors to work within these programs at Xcel Energy. Okay, so who is Clear Results exactly? Clear Result is a third-party implementer for Xcel Energy. So we manage and implement Xcel Energy's rebate programs. There's a variety of different programs that we manage for them. As an organization, we partner with over 190 utilities across North America. We're a fairly large company, and a North American leader in energy efficiency solutions, decarbonization, energy transition. So we have a lot of experts on our team, whether locally here in Denver or across the nation. There's always somebody that is able to lend their expertise and help out here. Oops. As far as Xcel Energy's programs, there's a few that we run, but the ones I'll be focusing on today are very similar programs, just geared towards different sections of Denver here. I personally work on the multifamily buildings efficiency program, and this is geared towards apartment buildings, condos, that sort of thing. And on top of that, we do some commercial programs, the Small Business Energy Solutions Program, which is geared obviously towards small businesses, and then the Commercial Streamlined Assessment Program, which is geared towards bigger businesses. It tends to be a little bit of a deeper dive into what those buildings have on site, and how to basically make these buildings as energy efficient as possible. Xcel Energy has a interest in demand response, and so it's cheaper for them to cut demand than it is for them to create new power plants and that kind of thing. So that's where we come in. Each one of these different programs offers a free energy audit for the businesses or apartments. And on top of that, we do complimentary direct installation of some screw-in bulbs, aerators, faucet aerators, shower heads, that kind of thing. After we do the assessment, we give the property a detailed report, an audit report, which goes into opportunities that we found during our audit. Just the best kind of low-hanging fruit or the easiest return on investment for properties to increase their efficiency. So a lot of the programs are geared towards obviously Xcel's customers and ways that they can save energy, but a big part of that whole process is getting contractors on board and making sure they understand the programs and that they're able to use these programs to their benefit and really drive. We understand that the contractors are the one out there talking to these customers most often. They're the ones that are getting the projects done. So it's really important for us that they are able to leverage these programs and make the most of it and make sure that they're building this value into their offerings. As far as what Clear Result can do for contractors, there's a few different ways that you can kind of build value into your bidding process. And I want to start out by saying that all services provided by Clear Result and Xcel Energy here are completely free. We work with rebate support to, post-project, we'll come gather materials for the rebate paperwork and get everything submitted to Xcel Energy's processing team. Really try to streamline the process and get those rebates paid out as quickly as possible. A big part of what we do too is pre-project rebate analysis. And so as contractors are doing the bidding process, they will sorry, Sarah, I just saw your message here. I can definitely provide a copy of the presentation for you. So I'll get that over to Marilyn and the team to send out after the fact here. So thank you for that. So yeah, pre-project, we like to take a look at bids and just analyze for rebate potential there. One thing that a lot of contractors choose to do is they will essentially discount the rebate amount on the initial invoice for their customers. That way the customer is receiving that discount immediately, and then Xcel Energy will go ahead and reimburse the contractor for the rebate amount once the project is complete. So what's really important with that is making sure you have the right rebate amounts and knowing exactly how much to discount the customer. And that's where I come in. If I really think it's important, and I like to get on projects and get eyes on projects as soon as the bidding process is underway. And I think that's a way that to help you get more projects in your queue, and really make sure these offerings are available and the customer understands that Xcel Energy is supporting here where possible. I touched on this earlier, but another value add that we can offer to customers is these free energy assessments for multifamily and commercial buildings. And it's just an extra offering that you can offer up to your customers and say, hey, while we're in here, why don't we take a look at the whole building to see what we can do as far as any opportunities that are out there for lighting upgrades, HVAC upgrades, that kind of thing. And so it's a good way to build some value into your bids. We also, when we're delivering the audit report to these customers, a lot of times they might not know where to start, and they might not know, which contractors to reach out to. So that's a time where we can refer customers to you for bidding. I like to have a good idea of what types of projects contractors are doing. Everyone has their own little slice of the pie that they like to go after. So when I find a project that seems to be a good fit for a certain contractor, we will refer those contractors to the customer, get them connected for bidding processes. Okay, I'm going to get into the different rebate streams for LEDs here. There's three main streams, you could call them, for how rebates are paid out. Those being prescriptive, custom, and instant rebates, or midstream is what that's also called. Prescriptive is kind of our bread and butter. That's 1-for-1 fixture replacements. I'll get into in another slide here what exactly would qualify, but it's things like full fixture replacement for downlights, strip fixtures, troffers, exterior, we've got wall packs, area lights, parking garage fixtures, that kind of thing. The rebate application itself goes into detail about what specific requirements are needed to fit these prescriptive categories. And as long as it's, replacing the right type of technology, say, for a downlight, it gets a set prescriptive amount based off the wattage of the new fixture, and then based off whether it's replacing fluorescent or incandescent or HID technology. So it's fairly straightforward in that if you satisfy the requirements of the removed lighting and the interior and the new LED lighting fits a certain wattage category, you know exactly what the rebates are going to be. So during rebate analyses, that's what I'll look at to kind of get a total rebate amount for you, and build up that rebate based off of the removed lighting and what's going in. So another big part that I mentioned earlier is the contractors can provide that rebate up front and then be reimbursed by Xcel. So that's a really good way for customers to get an instant kind of discount on these things. The rebates themselves are typically paid out in Xcel says 3 to 6 weeks. I think we can typically get that closer to 3 weeks. It's not a long process to get that rebate check in the mail for you. As far as custom, we kind of talk about as being any project that's saving energy that doesn't fit into one of the prescriptive categories. There's certain fixtures that fall under custom rebates for lighting, things like exterior fixtures like floodlights, wall sconces, any downlights that are in soffits, that kind of thing. Interior downlights go prescriptive. Exterior goes custom. There's some little quirks like that can be confusing, but that's where I'm here to help out. And when I'm doing those rebate analysis, I can go line by line and say, X, Y, and Z would go prescriptive versus A, B, and C would be custom options for you. So I can break out the rebate by the different streams, and a lot of projects will have both prescriptive and custom components. The big thing with customs, I'll touch on a little bit later too, is that we need to submit the custom application and a workbook before the project gets underway. So before materials are purchased and the work is completed. That's another reason why I think it's important to clue me in on any projects that are going on as early as possible. It happens more often than I would like that a contractor will come to me and say, hey, here's my project. We just finished up. What are the rebates associated with it? Only to find out that those fixtures would have to fall under the custom category. And at that point, it's too late to apply for the rebate for those. We can ask for an exception to get those custom projects pushed through after the fact, but there's no guarantee that Xcel is going to allow that. So it's really important to get us in the loop as early as possible, and make sure that we've got a good idea of the different rebate streams and where the project's going to land. Lastly is the excuse me, is the midstream or instant rebate program. This is a point of sale rebate for any LED bulbs. So no fixtures, but just pin-based bulbs. I'll get in a little bit later in the slides here to what exactly different bulbs are offered in instant rebate. But if you're selling bulbs to customers, then it'd be a really good idea to get into the participating distributor network. You have to be a part of this distributor network in order to offer the instant rebates. Basically, the customer gets that rebate right at the point of sale. Xcel Energy then reimburses the contractor for those rebates after the fact. And so, please follow up with me afterwards if that's something that you're doing, and we can get you on that distributor network. Okay, so here's kind of the different areas that qualify for prescriptive rebates. We see a lot of interior fixtures, exit signs, high bays, low bays, and retrofit kits for both high bays, low bays, and downlights can all go prescriptive. We see refrigeration case lighting, direct linear ambient fixtures, and retrofit kits. Troffers are a really big one that we see a lot of, and stairwell fixtures. They all offer different rebate amounts based off of the removed lighting and the wattage of the new lighting that's getting put in. Parking garages have some of the best rebates out there right now. Xcel Energy does cap the rebate amount at 60% of the project cost. And we often see parking garage projects cap out at that 60% of the total project cost. So that's a really good one to utilize these rebates for. As far as exterior things, a lot of area lights are done. Canopy fixtures for things like gas station canopies, that kind of thing. Street lighting is similar to area lighting, and then a lot of wall packs as well. On top of that, there are rebates for lighting controls, occupancy sensors, daylighting sensors, or network lighting controls. Those are rebated on a per watt basis. So depending on the type of sensors being put in, there's 5, 10, 15 cents per watt that is offered as a rebate for there. And then as well, Xcel offers agriculture lighting. So indoor ag lighting is has been a big driver for rebates as well. As far as getting the custom process started, it can be a little bit more complicated. And like I said, it's something that we need to get on as soon as possible. So custom rebates aren't necessarily guaranteed, but what we'll do is we submit the project details, the cost of materials and labor, the existing fixture wattage and the new fixture wattage. Xcel then does an analysis on that to determine the payback period and determine whether the project will qualify for a rebate. If it does pass that analysis, there will be a specific rebate amount that's given in a pre-approval letter to the customer saying, yes, this project qualifies, you'll get a rebate of X amount. And then you're good to go ahead with that project. Once the project is complete, we basically submit the invoice and a final application, and then that custom rebate amount is released to either the customer or the contractor. This is another one that the contractor can discount that rebate amount upfront to the customer once the rebate amount is known, and then be reimbursed by Xcel on the back end there. Again, this needs to be submitted before any materials are purchased and installed. So please clue me in, please keep me in the loop with those projects as they're as they're getting underway here. And while this can be a little complicated, I think, we're here to make it as easy as possible for you. And so don't hesitate to reach out if you ever have questions on what might qualify or whether a project is worth going after that custom rebate. Midstream, I kind of already discussed a little bit here, but here's in the next page, I'll get into some more specifics of what types of lamps are associated here. Again, the big part here is you need to be in the participating distributor network in order to offer these rebates. So please let me know after the fact if that's something that you'd be interested in and getting into, and we can get you connected with our midstream program manager. His name is Clayton, and he is able to kind of get you signed up and into the network there. As far as eligible products in the instant rebate program, we offer different rebates for linear tubes, 2 foot, 4 foot, 8 foot. The price depends on whether it's type A, B, or C. There was this year a 50% bonus on linear tubes. I believe that has ended now, but that's something that Xcel Energy typically does every year to kind of incentivize these types of purchases. Pin-based lamps are offered, mogul base, HID replacement bulbs, and then all your different types of lamps there, your A lamps, BR30s, MR16s, PAR 16s, PAR 20s, PAR 30s. Those all have different rebates associated with them, as well as decorative lamps, candelabras, that kind of thing, as well as downlight retrofit kits. So those downlight retrofit kits can be offered instant rebate or through the prescriptive streams as well. I just wanted to go through some steps for success here for you. I think The biggest thing is early collaboration with our team is really important. Again, I don't like to have those issues where a contractor or a customer comes to me after a project's complete, and sometimes it's too late at that point to get these rebates taken care of. So the earlier you can get in here, the better. It is a competitive edge for you to be able to leverage these programs and offer those rebates up front to the customer. So there's never too early of a time. I'm happy to even do site walks with you and kind of include our energy assessment as part of your pre-job site walk. A lot of customers like to know that Xcel Energy is working as well on these projects, and so it's never a bad idea to call me up and say, hey, I'm going to be walking this property. Can you join me and either do an assessment or just make sure I know what the rebates are going to be like for a project like this. Customers tend to like that. Um, as far as the rebate application process, I'll go into a little more detail in the next slide here. But really what we need to submit the prescriptive rebates are an itemized invoice that breaks out material and labor costs for the fixtures, a scope of work. Really, we just need to know the removed lighting. Xcel Energy likes to track the energy savings on these projects, so that's why they like to know the type of lighting being removed and the wattage of that lighting. Spec sheets or model numbers for the new LED lighting are needed. And so we basically build that all into one rebate packet that we submit to Xcel Energy and then release the rebates for you. So yeah, this on the right hand side of the screen here is the first page of the lighting efficiency rebate. This is really the only part of the application that needs to be filled out. It's a 10-page document, but as long as we can get the customer's information in that top section with a signature there, I can go through and fill out the rest of the application on the customer and your behalf and get everything submitted. You'll notice there's an alternate rebate recipient section that would need to be filled out if the customer is receiving the rebate up front from you, and the rebate would be going to the contractor. So if that's the case, we would need 2 signatures on this first page from the customer. Contractor information and then just a little bit about the facility is helpful to get filled out there. If you can submit the first page here along with spec sheets or model numbers of the new lighting going in, as well as an itemized invoice for the fixtures and for the labor costs, that's really all we need to get these things submitted. And I can make sure I'll get the paperwork put together, make sure everything's there, kind of streamline the process so that when Xcel gets that paperwork, it's just a quick glance over, they check everything, and they submit the rebate check. So there's minimal back and forth with the customer or the contractor with Xcel Energy. We try to take all that work off of the different parties. Here's an example of a sample invoice that shows, really this is the ideal case scenario. I know a lot of invoices don't necessarily look like this, but this is really what Xcel is looking for. They like to see the model number on the invoice of the new fixture going in, the quantity there, and labor broken out as a separate line item in there is also very important for them. It needs to be dated and have an invoice number, as well as a address for where the project is taking place. It doesn't necessarily have to include the removed lighting there. As long as I get the removed lighting information in an email, I can include that section in the paperwork. It's one of the 10 pages on the application. Goes into the remove lighting section. So I can fill all that out as long as you're able to give me that information and complete the paperwork for you. The big thing there too is making sure that the different line items are broken out separately. If possible, labor broken out by the different fixtures is helpful as well. but we can also take the total labor amount and divide it by the number of fixtures to get a per fixture labor cost there. So that's, that's one thing that can catch up some contractors, is having invoices that are not this detailed, but we can work with you to make sure Xcel's getting all the information they have. If say the invoice doesn't have this level of itemization on it, we can also submit a proposal that goes into the specifics of what was being installed, and that way Xcel has all the information they need to get those processed for you. Okay. Getting close to the end here, but I did want to just touch on other types of equipment that are eligible for rebates. There are prescriptive rebates for everything you see on the screen here, and what doesn't fall, it's very similar to lighting in that if it doesn't fall in the prescriptive categories, but the lighting, but there is energy savings to be had there, it can go through the custom flat rate billing. Sarah, that's a good question. So as long as we have a proposal in hand, the invoice it's okay to just have an invoice with flat rate billing on it, but we would just need to discuss over email the specifics of what's going on at the project. So any proposals you can send out would be helpful, and we would just include that with the rebate paperwork, and that would be enough for Xcel Energy there. Good question. Sure, no problem. As far as I don't know if anyone on this call is offering any of these other things, but a big rebate source, I would say, is high efficiency motors and variable frequency drives. We do rebate those a lot. HVAC, boilers, boiler add-ons, boiler tune-ups all have prescriptive rebates associated with them. Heat pumps are a big thing these days, so there are prescriptive rebates with heat pumps as well. Food service equipment like demand controlled kitchen ventilation has a really good rebate associated with it. Dishwashers, convection ovens, combination ovens, pasta cookers. There's a whole slew of different things that have prescriptive rebates with them. If you are working in any of these areas, I'd be happy to share the rebate application with you, and that way you can go through and see the exact rebate amounts for the different types of equipment that's being installed. And that is about it right now. So I wanted to open it up for any other questions at this time. I hope that was helpful for folks. And I really just want to emphasize how much, I really enjoy getting in on these projects and helping the contractors out to make sure they're leveraging these programs and making it as easy as possible for you to work within these programs. There really is a lot of value here, and not enough people are taking advantage of it. So that's my job, is to make it as easy as possible for folks to kind of use these things. Thank you guys very much for your time here. And I will open it up for any questions here. I see one in the chat. Yes, Sarah, working with Clear Result is completely free. Xcel Energy has what they call a DSM rate charge that is included on everyone's bill. So each customer, Xcel Energy commercial customer, will pay into a big bucket basically that is used to fund Clear Result and fund these rebate programs. So, Clear Result doesn't take any of the rebate amount. We don't offer any, there's no fees associated with our work. It's really just something that basically all customers are paying into. And so with that bucket of money, Xcel uses it to fund these programs and to fund Clear Results association with it.
Kevin, I have a couple of questions. I don't know if there are any others in the chat, but as you were speaking, first of all, I wanted to share with our participants that both Xcel Energy and Clear Result are industry partners of IEC Rocky Mountain, and the things that Kevin is sharing today are exactly the reasons that they are members, to help you in your business, where rebate programs are available, to be a resource to you so that you can offer additional business services and solutions to your clients and customers. So I do encourage you to leverage that relationship, reach out to Kevin or others within ClearResult for the various program offerings they provide. ClearResult 2 years ago began offering an energy efficiency partner award as part of our annual Summit Awards. And last year, Mac is not on the program, but Mac Electric Company received the award for getting $164,000 and change in rebates for their customers. So just so that you know, for those companies that are really supporting that work, $164,000 plus in rebates is something that one company in and of itself was able to help its customers receive, across their customer base. Many of you also know that we went through the renovation of the Fort Collins campus, our own facility, late last year and earlier this year, and we just received word in working directly with ClearResult that IECRM received $5,300 in rebates as a result of working with ClearResult and updating the lighting and fixtures and other things in that renovation. So that's rebate that we received back to the organization. So we're very grateful, Kevin, for that work and appreciate you recognizing our electrical contractors that really are working to share these rebates with their customers. Are there any other questions? Because I do have two specific questions, but is there anything else in the chat?
I don't think I'm seeing anything else in the chat right now, so go ahead, Marilyn, whenever you're ready.
Okay. One was around, I've seen a lot of email exchange over the last couple of weeks as we get to the last quarter of 2024 about fluorescent lighting and the changes, the new rules that are taking place in January. So is there anything that you're seeing an uptick on, or are there rebates still associated that we need to make sure that our contractor members are really leveraging between now and the end of the year?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there are some changes coming into the law next year that prohibit the sale of fluorescent lighting, and so I don't know for a fact how that's going to affect the rebate programs. Typically, Xcel Energy will make adjustments to their rebate offerings every year or every 3 years, and they're coming up on a new DSM plan here for 2025, and so I would say anything that we can get in this year is definitely, this is the only time we can guarantee that there'll be rebates associated with replacing fluorescent lighting. I don't know for a fact that that'll change next year, but it would certainly be a good idea to get those projects done this year if possible.
Perfect. And that was also part of my question around, I know that Xcel Energy puts these new rebate programs out, on a schedule, yearly or otherwise. Is there anything do you typically know, like when does ClearResult know what those are so that you'll be able to communicate them to our business owners and members? Like what's that time frame typically look like when Xcel launches those new programs?
Yeah, another good question there. I think we should know before the end of the year. So I would say sometime in November, how exactly those things are going to change. There is, it's been kind of a little bit different this year because Xcel Energy did use all of their budget for rebates for 2024. So they're actually going to be dipping into 2025's budget to pay out the remainder of the rebates this year. So this year's been a little bit different. It's the first time that they've actually kind of used their entire budget for rebates. And a lot of that was actually associated with agricultural lighting that went really gangbusters this year. So so they're working with the PUC right now to kind of free up some funding from next year's DSM plan to use to kind of pay out the remaining rebates for this year. So I think, the earlier people can get projects in front of us, the better, especially these last couple months of the year.
Great. And then my other question is really for the members that are on our call. I am curious to know whether in your business services and offerings to customers, you have gotten involved at all in any HVAC work, specifically with heat pump installation. That's one of those things that takes a little bit of everything from a skilled trades perspective. And I'm curious to know whether our members are going down that path of heat pump installation at all, or partnering with others on those types of projects. Because to Kevin's point, I do know that that has been a big increase in rebate interest this year. Maybe that's just quiet. Oh, Shane. Shane, did you have a question or a thought about heat pump? We can see that you're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Sorry about that, Shane. We still can't. Oh, here we go. Something from Sarah. Shane, yeah, Shane, I don't know if you can put this in chat or not, but Sarah shared, to date, we've not partnered with any HVAC for rebates. Specifically, we did not work with Denver's rebates because we'd need to wait for the HVAC contractor to finish work before we'd get paid. That's a great point, and you know, and how the payment processing works for sure. And again, Shane, if you had a thought.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Hi there. I was basically going to say the same thing as Sarah, that we are involved with heat pump installations, but a lot of the time it seems like the HVAC contractor is the lead contractor on those jobs. And so I can see I've always just had a difficulty as a small contractor and a new business owner understanding how the rebate process works. And I'm hearing that the best way is to do early collaboration with people like Clear Result. But like Sarah brought up, it can often be difficult when like as an electrician, we can have our scope of work done for heat pumps pretty quickly, but a lot of times you're waiting on the HVAC contractor to finish up their work after the fact.
So Kevin, I think that's really good feedback for Clear Result. Is there is that something that you've experienced? Have you had to navigate, you know, multiple contractors on a project like that? And you know, are there things that we should be working together with Clear Result to make that an easier pathway for our members?
Yeah, absolutely. We do work with general contractors as well, and sometimes on bigger projects like that, there's varying different scopes that are involved there. So I would say connecting us with those HVAC contractors is probably the best way to do it, is getting us in touch with the folks that are kind of doing the final installation there. But however you want to do it is fine. I just you know, would like to be involved with somebody over there, whether it's the electricians or the HVAC contractors that are actually doing the work. But happy to work with anybody. You don't have to be part of any particular network to offer the prescriptive rebates. We can work with anybody to get that done.
So would it
Great.
be just as simple as including you in the initial kind of bidding process with the customer, as we're trying to figure out what they're trying to accomplish?
Yep,
And
exactly.
how? Okay.
Getting us clued in there is the best way to do it. Yep.
Yeah, I think just from our own experience working at the Fort Collins location with those changes that took place, getting Clear Result involved at the absolute very beginning, it really, really was helpful to our process. just in even knowing, that again, Clear Result knows what all the other options are. So if they're brought in early, there may be things that are, new to the table or a nuance that might even improve the rebate opportunity for clients and customers.
Yep. One quick thing I forgot to mention that I think is relevant is for prescriptive rebates, we have up to 2 years on the date of the invoice to submit the rebate paperwork. And so I know a lot of times contractors are on to the next job and they're always thinking forward, which is great. But if there's ever any property management groups or ownership groups that you're working with and maybe you did a project for them a year ago and you'd like to kind of bring them back in to see if there's any other possible work for you. I've seen contractors have good success with going back to those customers and saying, hey, there might be some rebates associated with this project. I'm happy to do the legwork on the front end before you go back to the customer to know for sure whether those rebates are there or not. But just want to kind of emphasize that we have up to 2 years from the date on the invoice to submit that paperwork. So it can be a good way to kind of rekindle some relationships with different customers and try to win more work by saying, hey, we're looking out for you and making the most of these programs, even though we completed the project a little while ago.
Kevin, thank you for that. Sarah did ask about, excuse me, Sarah did ask about whether or not the PowerPoint could be shared. This is a recorded session. And Kevin, if you will share the PowerPoint, we will get the PowerPoint out. We will include any links in a summary so that each of you can share this with your employees and team members or owners if you are not the owner on the call, just so that we can continue to share this information throughout our membership. And then we will send this out as a broader communication for those that may have registered or weren't available to join us this morning. Holly is going to put a link to the State of the Industry dinner registration and the holiday party registration. If anybody is interested, if you are a small company or a division of your company, one of the things I didn't say about the holiday party is that part of our messaging is let us plan your holiday party. So if you haven't already put something together, we do sell packages within the holiday party registration that if you're a small company, we're happy to give you a part of our space and do all the party planning for you. So if that's something that is of interest, I did not say this, but the holiday parade party will be held at the Hyatt Regency downtown by the Convention Center, and the State of the Industry dinner on November 13th will be back at the Delta Marriott. For those of you that may have participated before, Chef Sarah is amazing, and she has yet again put together an amazing menu for that dinner. So we look forward to seeing you at both of those events. Kevin, any final closing words before we give everybody a few minutes back in their day?
Nothing big. I just, I'd like to reiterate that I'm happy to do follow-up trainings or come by any offices and go through this information for you on a more personal level, go through any projects that have been done in the past or that are in the works right now. Just please keep me in the loop. I'm really happy to help. So any questions, we can always get you connected with Xcel Energy's EV rebate programs or other programs that we might not necessarily implement ourselves, but we typically have the right people to talk to at Xcel. So if you have any questions about anything Xcel related, I'm your guy. And I will, again, my email is kevin.hooley, HOOLEY @clearresults.com. So I'd be happy to take any questions you guys have and get you connected with the right folks if I can't help you personally.
Perfect. And we'll make sure your contact information is in that summary document that we send out. So
great.
Very good. Again, thank you all for taking time to hear what Kevin had to share from Clear Result today. And hope that this has been informative for you. If you have other topics that you want us to look at, consider for the member forum, please just let us know. We do have a couple of other forums and education sessions that we'll be doing at the end of the year. So keep an eye out for your email for those that are that are coming along. Kevin, thank you so much for your time. We really, really appreciate your message to us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Everyone have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.